And today's review, I believe, is something that is long overdue. Prior to me having this channel, Senpapi Cigars, I was a part of a channel called Six of Fire. In the infancy of that channel, I was just discovering Nicaraguan, Dominican, Honduras tobaccos. Prior, I was mainly a Cuban cigar smoker. But once I discovered Nicaraguans and Dominicans, and I started to dabble in the likes of Davidoff, I stumbled upon this cigar first from the Davidoff line. That is how my history and love of Davidoff basically blossomed. After I tried a late hour, I tried a Nicaraguan blend, the Yamasa, Chef Edition, their Master Blender Selection #2. I started trying everything. Millennium. I couldn't have enough. I seriously was hooked. Like, I was hooked. As you guys can see, you have the Dragon box. I have the Davidoff flask. I have a Davidoff humidor. These are the boxes I have. This is the Oro Blanco case. Yes, I spent $500 on a single cigar because I was obsessed with Davidoff. Late hour is something I seen somebody mention before in the comment section, and as well as a cigar that I was gonna do anyways, but an amazing friend of mine named Eric from Smoke One If You Have One, he sent it to me. So I just paid a couple bucks, even though I did buy another one the other day and I had it for enjoyment. That's between me and you. Don't tell nobody else. We're gonna cut it. We're gonna review it. Oh, that creamy espresso note with hints of like cedar, other spices like baking spices. This is The late hour is one cigar you can never go wrong with. It is something that will always be reliable with flavor notes, and it's not that extremely expensive. You do have 3 variations of the cigar. You have the Robusto, the Churchill, and the one I'm smoking today, which is the Toro. The Robusto of the late hour MSRP is $17.50. You have the Toro, I'll save it for last. Then you have the Churchill at 7x48, which MSRP goes by 20 and 10 cents. And lastly, you have the Toro of what we are reviewing today, which is the one right here, which is a 6x54. And the MSRP of this bad boy goes for 19 and 10 cents. I don't think 19 and 10 cents for this caliber and this delicious, it's not something that will break your bank to have maybe once a month, once every other month, maybe for a special occasion. It's not like your other cigar brands that have a little bit more of a rarer or luxury branding that goes for like 26 to 30 plus. This cigar is basically at the border of $20 to $17.50 at the 3 sizes they offer. I don't see them as extremely out there when it comes to price points, but let's just get in the mix of stuff. There's a few things you could do when it comes to torturing a cigar. Sometimes people say that butane has impurities and that first puff you do may impact the flavor of the cigar. Actually blowing in your cigar, like puff, like a opposite puff, like that's me blowing into the cigar, not me puffing in. That sometimes may dispel the impurities from your lighter, depending what lighter you use. So blow out, then blow in or puff in. What information can I give you about the cigar? Well, first of all, the wrapper is an Ecuadorian Marron Oscuro. Then you have the binder, which is a Mexican Negro San Andrés. Then lastly, this is the only thing that I got from my notes that I had to put on a post-it note on the side, because there's a lot of things in the filler that I know I might have to like say it a couple times, because this obviously Spanish. Yes, I may be Spanish, but I'm a no sabo kid. My parents forced me to be a no sabo kid. My grandparents forced me to be a no sabo kid. And then as we grew up, they kind of regret not teaching me. Now they regret making me a no sabo kid, because when it's talk to me in Spanish, I no sabo. But I put this note on the side for the filler because I know I'm gonna butcher it. The filler is a combination of Nicaraguan and Dominican. For the specifics of the Dominican, it is a San Vicente, Mojorado, Visas, Piloto Seco, and Olor Visos. Then you have the Nicaraguan, which is an Estelí Visos and a Condega Visos, which is barrel aged, and a Scotch single malt barrel. So you have aspects of malt in this cigar because it is aged on the Estelí Nicaraguan side, being aged in a barrel of single malt Scotch. The spice levels of the cigar is very, very medium, very nice, very smooth. The retro is not painful, or sometimes you might have to like anticipate it. Some other cigar packs a punch with the spice level. One brand is infamously known for having very spicy cigars with peppers and all that kind of sorts, and when you do retro, sometimes it gives you that little feedback of, you know, like whiplash or just a cringe. Doesn't mean it's bad, but the levels of spice that's in the cigar is very mellow. You get very light level of coffee, more like espresso. There's times you get the espresso either in the foreground, the flavor notes, sometimes in the background. Right now, you have a combination of sweetness, leather, spice, and espresso just playing with each other. Right now, they're dancing with each other to figure out the blend. Sometimes you get all four flavor notes in one, which is a beyond magical puff. There's times where, you know, they dance with each other. There's sometimes that leather pops out more than the other notes, but it's very nice, very smooth, really enjoyable, and it only gets better. That's what I love about Davidoff, the late hours specifically. But let's take a look on that beautiful ash. Pure white, hints of gray. Not many tunnels you see inside of there, like holes, but even the rare holes, that is somewhat fine. When some cigars are packed too in depth with tobacco, it's hard to smoke. So even if they have like small little pockets of air, of, you know, quote unquote missing tobacco, you should not be complaining, because with just this simple light, look at that smoke output. And it's not even hard to do that puff, which means the construction is amazing. You want a cigar that has a little bit of pockets, so when you ignite, puff, it won't be much of a stress or, yeah, a tug battle. You don't want to have a tug of war battle with something you're enjoying. This is something you just want to sit down and relax. Why would you want a cigar packed to the very brim of tobacco and you're having a wrestling match with it? Oh, that espresso is coming out more. Oh my god. It's like I just ate a coffee bean. Oof. It is completely like I ate a coffee bean. You have this cream aspect to it. Now that I'm approaching that second third, it is just amazing. For those who are watching right now, what was your first Davidoff? What was your experience? And for those who have not even tried Davidoff yet, is there a reason why you're not going towards it? Or is this just something that you just believe is out of your price range? Which is all completely fine. But I want to get to know you guys. I want to understand the people who are viewing me. I already know the people who typically do comment because I do talk with them on the group chat I'm a part of. But there's a lot of people out there who's been commenting that I never met before. And I actually value a lot of your comments. This is the person who recommended me to smoke the cigar. You guys are learning to know who I am, and I want to know who you guys are. So what was your first Davidoff? Why do you enjoy it? Why didn't you like it? And for those who never had a Davidoff, why haven't you had one? With this review, trust me, I'm not trying to be biased. It's just, I've said it many times on my other videos. If this is your first time clicking onto my channel, that the aspects I look for of cigars are the ones that have the coffee or chocolate notes into the cigars. Those are the things I kind of sought after, or things I kind of yearn for a cigar experience. So I don't want to sound biased because yes, I do have a collection of Davidoff stuff. It's just for the fact that most of the blends of the cigars tend to have things I look for and the qualities of taste notes. I can still be fair and unbiased on my reviews. This one is just, the coffee note is just being miraculous, which is why I'm liking this first third. But now the second third is coming in, and that's when supposedly the chocolate comes in with the creaminess. Right now it's still coffee, which is not bad, because in a minute I have this bad boy that I will also be enjoying, and that is Café Bustelo, the extremely Caribbean take, one of the best powdered coffee out there, especially if you're Caribbean Spanish. That's what we typically go for. And that's another question. I do have a coffee channel which has been on a major hiatus for about a year. I still have a whole bunch of coffees that I have not yet to try out or drink black. I purposely drink my coffees with creams and other inclusions as part of it. So when I do the actual reviews on them, it could be my actual genuine reaction towards it. Would you guys mind if I implement coffee reviews a part of this channel, or should I keep it separate? Let me know. For just 3 fast lineups, I have obviously a whole bunch of different pods from Nespresso from all around the world. I have a very limited edition coffee made by the artist The Weeknd with his mother, which is an Ethiopian blend because that's where they reside from. I also possess authentic Puerto Rican coffee beans. Those are just 3 of maybe 20 different coffees I have in my house. So with that information, would you guys mind if I bring it to this channel, or should I keep it separate? Now that chocolate's coming in. Yep, that chocolate's coming in. That spice is gone. That was, yeah. Ooh, give me 1 second. Ooh. Ooh. That was a nice retro. That was a very slow retro. What's in my nostril? Woohoo! And that's another question. Do you guys retro? Do you know how to retro? And for those who are brand spanking new to the cigar community, trying to understand, you're watching different reviewers, trying to understand the community, trying to understand how cigars work, trying to understand how we judge cigars. There's a process called retrohaling, which is essentially we take the cigar, the smoke resides in our mouth, and we guide it to the back of our throat through our nostrils without us and actually inhaling it. was a process where we guide the smoke out our nose. For example, that is what retrohaling is. We're basically using both our senses. When you eat food, when you drink stuff, especially with stuff like coffee, I'm not gonna take a sip because I don't want to imbalance my palate. When you take a sip of something, you put your mouth against it, and since it's an open ringed cup, your nose plays another key role into the flavoring of whatever you are enjoying. That goes for spirits, which is alcohol. That goes for sodas, coffees, food. Because before you actually eat something, you're taking a little smell of the food as well, from steaks to seafoods and the whole 9 yards. And the best way us reviewers dictate the taste of a cigar is by utilizing both of those elements of our senses. Once you're more proficient and more understanding and know how to maneuver retrohaling, you have more smoke come out your nose, which I've seen personally from my friend Tony Soy Sauce Assassin when we went to Miami, and also when you watch his videos, which is also linked below, which is also in my description. Congrats to him for hitting 1,000 subscribers. But guys, we're over halfway there to 1,000. It's insane that this channel just resurrected in September towards the end of 2023, and we're entering 2024 with 530 subscribers. You guys are freaking awesome. Letting you guys know too, I do have a little road to 1,000. I do have a cigar I have signed from Sean Williams of Cohiba, and it's a Spectre 2021. I will review that cigar if you guys get me to 1,000. Not saying you have to click the button, but if you do click the button, I have a very rare cigar that I'll review just for you guys. Oh, now I'm getting a lot of chocolate and cream. The cigar transitioned from a espresso or latte to a now very tasty, very sweet chocolate milkshake. The leather of the cigar did come out a little bit more. You taste a lot of leather into the cigar. You also get this chocolate milkshake. For those who may not been around leather or whatever, if you ever maybe seen a leather jacket or a leather couch, which hurts like hell sometimes because summer times you're sweating and you sit on a leather couch, you're sweating, and you get up, most likely a piece of your skin will be left behind. Or you move and it makes all these noises. That's infamous to leather material. But it has like that aroma you get from leather. You get that in the taste notes. But you also get it combined with that chocolate milkshake, which makes this very interesting. That is ever so sweet. As I'm approaching the halfway mark, let's take a look on this construction. Let me just blow some of the ashes that's on it. Look at that very oily, gorgeous wrapper. Look how it's holding up. No cracks, no nothing. Just pure, oily, gorgeous Ecuadorian wrapper. This cigar does not rival a lot of cigars that's out there. This is something that I'll always enjoy no matter what, and I'm glad this is not a limited run. And I have not once, for the tens to potentially hundreds of late hours I've enjoyed throughout the years, I have not once had a bad experience. This is a cigar that you can get anytime, and 99 out of 100 will be an amazing experience. There might be one time you might get something you may not enjoy, maybe a bad batch. Remember, this is organic stuff. It's not something that's produced that it's always going to be a replica, a replica, a replica, a replica. This is grown to ground, to hanged, to fermented, to roll. Things could change with cigars. That is why there is a good saying that if you do have a cigar and it's not a good experience, you have the rules of threes. Maybe the next one would be better than your first experience, because these things are organic. I am now approaching the last third because I'm starting to taste it. It is stated by Davidoff that it's supposed to give you notes of oak, black pepper, and malt. And the malt comes from the aging process in the Nicaraguan filler blend that was aged in a single malt Scotch barrel. So right now, that chocolate and creaminess is slowly transitioning into the background, while that malt, black pepper, and oakiness is starting to slowly climb to the forefront. Yep. And the thing is, that black pepper, it's not even spicy. Some people may not like spicy cigars at all, but the spice level is very calm. Typically, black peppers will give you that little tickly sensation either in the back of your throat, on your tip, on the tip of your tongue, on your lips sometimes, or even when you do retro, in your nasal cavity. This one is not giving me any of that. I'm getting the taste of the black pepper, but I'm not getting the feelings of the black pepper. So they implemented this blend so craftily well that you get the effects and taste notes of the black pepper without getting the side effects, which shows that their construction process with their brand is beyond exceptional. This cigar is delicious. Never mind. You get some side effect of the black pepper. My brain tastes it, so my brain thinks, oh, it's actual black pepper. Let's sneeze. But no, on a serious note, this cigar is amazing. It is completely worth its 1910. The craftsmanship, the construction, the blend, the easy draw you get from the cigar, all of it combined makes it worth the 1910. The experiences going from coffee to chocolate to now oakiness. I believe the first two parts a little bit more impactful with flavor, while the oakiness and black pepper and the malts kinds to dwindle down the flavor notes. Some cigars has that reputation of starting strong, then slowly climb up that little hill, and then kind of either plateauing or just declining. This is more of like a plateau, slight decline, in my opinion. The whole malts, the whole cederness, the whole black pepper, it's something that, yes, it tastes great, but I feel like when you have that chocolate note, when you have that cream note, when you have that coffee note, brings an element that makes you enjoy it. This last third aspect is more relaxation and kind of a decline, but it's still a great cigar. And as you see, the smoke output is great. Not one time that I have to touch up the cigar. And there is moments where obviously this video is cut up a lot. There's a few moments where I put the cigar down for about 4 to 5 minutes. And I came back, then it was still nicely lit. Maybe about 3-4 draws, and it reactivated like how it was now. So on that note, guys, I will be wrapping up this review. This cigar is something I will always cherish and I'll always enjoy, because this was one of the main cigars that broke me out of my Cuban fab. And this is something that no matter what skill level you are in, you can enjoy. But I do recommend, if you're a newbie, stick with lighter cigars first. Connecticut's, Habanos, broadleaves. Stick with that lineup for a little bit. Get used to the whole nicotine content. Get used to the whole feeling of tobacco and that whole taste. and then slowly transition to yourself into things that's more Negro, Maduro, or even more potent with strength. That's my little tidbit for you guys who are newbies. For those who are experienced and already have a palate for your personal choices, let it be your Padron lines, let it be your AJ, let it be your Arturo Fuente. For those who are already set on the palettes you want, I suggest broaden up your horizon a little bit and see what you think about it. The flavor notes does bounce around a lot. First third, second third, and last third are all different experiences, which is something that I love about this community, and especially this brand, because they take you on a journey no matter what they put out. Let it be the year ofs, let it be just their main core lines. Davidoff tends to like to give people an experience. With this experience, I'm gonna give this cigar a 9 out of 10 for experience, because it gives you the chocolate, it gives you the espresso, and it gives you that malt oakiness, which some people could see as hit or miss. And for me, the last third is a little bit of a miss, but still quite enjoyable. And I will rate the first third a 9.5, the second third 8.5, and the last third an 8. It's still enjoyable, it's still tasty, but it's just not part of my palate. It's not truly something I sought after, but it's not something I would not decline nor bash on. It's still great flavor notes to it. For my expectation, I just go towards the chocolate or the espresso. The first, the second, third were amazing to me. The last third is great. So overall, the experience, I'll give it a 9. Yeah, I'll give it a 9. For construction, not a crack. Held up well. You have the white great ash. Band is very loose, so when you take the bands off, it doesn't damage the cigars. There's sometimes where cigar companies put enough glue on a cigar, when you try to take out the band, it rips the wrapper, which then by the time you get to that point, it kind of deconstructs the wrapper, which is annoying sometimes. The fact that their band is so loose, I'm gonna give the construction a 10. And lastly, taste notes. You already heard my opinion on it. Taste notes, I'm gonna give it a 9. Some might confuse my experience with my taste notes. How they're different to me is the experience, sometimes combinations might be just flawless. Like one cigar I smoked before, that combination was flawless, which gave me an amazing experience because it was my first time smoking it and it's just beyond spectacular. But taste notes has its own criterias for what I want, and experience is something that is just different. So if this is something I'm used to, I'm gonna get a high rating because I can always come back to this no matter what. So the experience is always gonna be there for me. And the construction is something that I always praise as a cigar brand, because not once in the tunnel, not once in the canoe. So that is my rating system. If you guys are curious about other stuff I could rate the cigar on, let me know in the comment section and I'll broaden my rating system. But on that note, I'm gonna give this cigar an overall 9, which means it is a ash. Hope you guys enjoyed today's review. Until next time, I love your faces and I'm out. Peace.